This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Welcome to Talk Africa with me, Jones Award, the program that brings you closer to home by discussing all issues pertaining to Africa. Today in the studio with me, we have Kofi Ali Abdullahi.
Kofi Ali Abdul.
Abdul, not Abdullahi.
Abdul Yakin. The name is very long.
It's very long. So we just stick to Kofi Ali.
That's it.
Thank you very much. Kofi Ali is here with us in the studio. Kofi Ali is an ECOWAS Citizens' Rights Advocate. We've had him in the studio a few times. I'm sure our listeners and our viewers are aware of Kofi Ali. Priscilla Inuakwe, who's a journalist, will be joining us very, very soon. Now, our main topic of the day today, this is a subject that brings a lot of Africans together. When this issue comes up, everybody can relate to it because some, in one way or another, is happening in their country. Okay, today, we're looking at the issue of corruption. Corruption across the continent. Are we fighting a losing battle? That will be our topic of the day. But as we start the show, we'll start the show with news rounds, headlines making, the stories making the headlines in the UK this morning. And then we'll turn our attentions to stories making news across the continent. As always, if you want to join in the conversation, you can call into the studio. The number is 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. If you want to send a text message, it's 0793-286-1328. And we're also on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook. Go to our page, GNTV UK, on Facebook, and you can leave your comments there. Kofi, good morning once again.
Yes, morning, Jones. How are you?
I'm good. Listeners and viewers, we're also live on GN Radio. You can listen to us, GN Radio, DAB across London, Sky Channel 0185 across UK, Eurobird and Astro TV across Europe. Also on TuneIn, you can listen to us. Kofi, yes. Let's start with the stories that are making the headlines here in the UK. What story has caught your eye this morning then, Kofi?
Well, one that I'm sure most people will not have probably come across. It's a very, very beautiful one that shows Her Majesty the Queen of England, Her Royal Highness,
yes,
Queen Elizabeth, and she's meeting Sir Attenborough in a park. Very nice one. And technically, the Queen revealed her playful nature. So you see her relax, despite, probably it's a way to bring down the tension.
Yeah.
That there's no cause for alarm. And they're having a nice joke. They say the Queen joked with Sir David Attenborough during film at the palace. Both are 91 and they have been friends for years. So, and on a lighter note, I think it's the best way to start so that our colleagues at home, listening to GN Radio this morning, at least will also smile. I mean, this is what we all want, something people happy. We don't want to start the morning, early hours like this with things that make your blood shiver. But that said, we quickly have to go to one important news here. EU leaders fear chaos over Brexit. And that again takes us quickly to a news item that's very, very interesting. They say Brussels, that is European Union, Brussels brace for fall of May's government. I like this kind of news because it's trying to tell us that there is something out there that all of us must somehow be interested in. The world now is about bigger economic, bigger government, and bigger markets. And you can see they say so what we are having here is this news will be taking us to the next item I want to take on. Brussels brace for what we call fall of May's government. In other words, they are envisaging that likely
They're anticipating that Theresa May
Yes.
will go.
will go. It said European Union leaders are preparing for fall of Theresa May before the new year. It emerged yesterday as the Prime Minister lost her second cabinet minister in a week. So technically, here we are, we have this Brexit and then the hard Brexit and Theresa May coming in. Actually, she stepped into a kind of, we call it firing line. And this news is coming from the Times. It's like she came in at a very critical time. Maybe Prime Minister Cameron saw this problem. He thought, we all know he was on the side of Remain.
To remain, yeah.
Yeah, move that. Or
Same as Theresa May.
she was not clear.
She was. It's just that she did not during the campaign. She wasn't out campaigning as much as the likes of Cameron.
Then we will say she's not clear, because you want people to, in time of serious decision making, Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, people like, even outsiders like Barack Obama, the governor of Bank of England,
The Exchequer at the time, Simon Osborne.
George Osborne.
Yeah.
A lot of them have to quit their job because they believe in something. But at that time, a lot of, and I blame especially I will use the word, the black community. We were misled, totally misled.
Yeah.
Now it's backfired. Although London voted.
It wasn't just the black community that were misled. I mean, some people that actually on both sides, Remain or the Brexiteers, both were misled.
Yeah.
We had the big bust of I think the 350 million that goes into the EU could go into the NHS.
Yeah. But that is even not where I'm looking at it from. I'm looking at where we on air, the way we are doing today, to be making our own cases. Because I remember people were told you're going to lose your job. And then you ask, what job are we doing that we are scared of losing?
Yeah.
Then the Romanians are taking your job, immigrants are taking your job. And that really worked. Although in the London area, they remain one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But we move on. Now, technically, let's go back. Going back to the case before us, Theresa May was not a forerunner. And the issue was to make the position of Britain clear, because EU was becoming uncomfortable. You are part of a union, you are not spending the currency. Every day you have an excuse. You want to deport citizens of the union, which is a no-go area. And we had immigrants are coming in and taking away our Britain. They are taking away our government. All sorts of things. Now, Theresa May was not in the fore. Now, it's now looking like there's a problem now. So when David Cameron saw that, look, I thought we will iron out critical issues so that we can move on. Since the election has not worked that way, then what we are going to do is, I don't want to handle this thing, because we gave the British people the chance, election promise, and it has been done.
Okay.
Theresa May stepped in.
All right.
And with that, we ended up with this problem. So she came in from the word.
Do you think she will last to Christmas?
Well, I don't think I'm a good prophet when you come to that. I can't predict.
Well, the way things are going, it doesn't look like Theresa May will...
Because there's now a call for Boris to go as well.
Yes.
And you can see how Mrs. Patel actually lost the job. She was in Israel. And part of the package where she's supposed to go to doesn't include the Golan Heights, where she went there. So they feel she has broken protocol. Did she even inform her superior, which we learned she wasn't?
Apparently she didn't.
She didn't. Good. She was on her way to Uganda. In fact, to Kenya.
To Kenya. She was called back.
She was in the middle of she was flying.
She was called back.
Can you imagine if this should happen somewhere? They say, no, let her go and collect her per diem before she comes back.
All right, on that note, Kobe, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our discussion. You're listening and watching to Talk Africa. We'll be right back.
Majority of you only pay attention to us after years of unremittent persistence and rejections, whilst we challenge the way it has always been done. We have made courageous decisions many of you wouldn't dare dream, forgetting you can live it when you dream it. Wake up with an idea. Research the egg out of the idea. Write a massive business plan. Raise money and create business. Wave goodbye to friends and families as your life is now your business. Stick with it, even on the bad days. Following your massive expansion into a worldwide domination, retire to your favorite highland or go back to step 1 and wash, rinse and repeat.
The CEO's Chair, showing on GNTV UK.
Next time, not joke with no Nuts family. I hear me. I feel that.
Foreigners are in deciding for us, what to do when it comes to our music. This is just so not cool.
Charlie, just forget them. If you're not ready to pay our artist like $30,000 or $90,000, then where are we going?
Talent get case. You go see one kid you can't stay top. They do small acrobatics here and there, or people they clap. Why this kid get talent? How?
Instead of beefing each other, Ghanaian artists can actually join hands together and promote themselves internationally.
Beloved, God created man with the dust of the earth. God breathed the breath of life into mankind. So man became a living soul. It is therefore empirical to know and to understand that the earthly cannot survive without the heavenly. Faith today is designed to bring men and women of God from across the world to discuss developmental issues and current affairs backed by the scriptures and the gospels. This will enable us to have a better Ghana and a better world to live in. My name is Apostle Owahin Omaria Champon. I'm going to be your regular host. Remember, the light of God will shine. Don't miss it.
Hello and welcome back to Talk Africa with me, Jones Ewa. Today in the studio, we have Priscilla. Priscilla have managed to join us, finally. Beat the traffic in the end, Priscilla.
I did. Good morning, Jones. It's always a pleasure to be here.
And good thanks. Thanks for being here, Priscilla.
How are you, Priscilla?
I'm good.
Now, before we went on the break, we were looking at stories that made the headlines here in the UK. Priscilla, before you came in, Kofi Ali was talking about Priti Patel. With what is going on, I'm sure you've been following it as well.
Yeah.
People have been saying that I think she has been sacked. We're not sure yet whether she's been sacked or not.
She decided to resign.
Because
I think ultimately
she did the right thing to do. That was the right thing to do.
She bore out before she's kicked out.
Yeah. To have gone to Israel and to then have meetings with that many Israeli ministers and not consult your base. I think everybody knows that that's just not, you just don't do that. It's wrong. Because whether or not you like it, wherever she goes, she represents the British government.
Yeah.
So even if she's there today, not in her capacity as a minister, it matters not. You still have to be very, very mindful of what you do. If you're on holiday, make it a holiday. But you do not appear to be undermining not just the Prime Minister, but you're ultimately undermining your country. When you go off and have meetings with people and you don't, check with base, have a conversation, what is it about? Even if it's a private thing that she's doing for herself, she has a duty. It is required of her to pre-announce that to Westminster before actually going off and doing that. And she took that risk, and it's an expensive one, and it's cost her her job today.
What is even interesting in what Priscilla is saying, that really touched my mind. Anywhere you are going as a minister, you don't work alone when you are in a certain position. You work with the team.
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
the teams are made up of professionals, experienced,
advisors, and
diplomats, advisors, and they are well paid. And these people are supposed to be advising the minister on her decision and a statement and where she goes to. And moreover, we should also understand the sensitivity of security issues. Yep. You can go to somewhere for some reason, if we don't wish that, But if a person loses her life, maybe somebody shot her for political reasons, they won't say, "Oh, somebody from." They will say a British minister is killed, and that can be very, very dangerous. How did she got there? What is the protocol? So I don't think this is a simple issue as it looks. What I just heard somewhere, and I want to believe is the truth, is that she had places to go to. So they had all the places, but there was a place she is not supposed to go to. And if she goes there, it should be silent. So there were communications.
Some sort of communication.
She met the prime minister before, because she didn't from Israel go back to where she was recalled from. She came back to this country. So this issue had been brewing for some time. Because I think they met in New York, United Nations Summit, and this issue came up again, that they are trying to find a way around it. But she didn't brief the prime minister as to where exactly she was. And I think that is what is causing her this big problem.
Before we move on, let me just take one text message. The person, Henry saying, I wonder what would happen if it was a minister from any of the African countries, if they will resign or still fight their case.
They'll be fighting. They will not only be fighting, and they'll make sure they collect their per diem. You know, the allowance they collect.
Okay, Priscilla, any other stories you'd like to touch on?
You know, my concern is I'm still very much about this unfortunate pest minister now, you know, is what we call it. There's a suggestion here by this lady saying that she had over 30 ministers trying to get only her.
This is the whole sexual harassment scandal that's going on.
And you know, and you just keep wondering, where does it stop? Are we taking it too far now? You know, and what are we trying to say to the men in our society? We've had one MP kill himself.
Commit suicide.
We've had those who have resigned. I mean, I understand, obviously, they've done something that they shouldn't have done. They should be punished. But to go as far as to kill yourself, I don't know what exactly was there. But I think that we need to be mindful now, because what is especially irritating is the if you want to call it the oh, he touched my knee, oh, he looked at me a certain way, oh, it's those aspects that I think it's unfair, and that should not be permitted. It shouldn't be printed. We shouldn't be blowing the trumpet on that. I think if there's an assault that cannot be ignored, that we can all agree that yes, this act was an act of sexual assault or sexual violation or harassment, yes, but where is just, you know, trivia, sounding trivia, appearing trivia? I think we should desist from printing it, from making a big deal out of it, and because it's getting out of hand.
I think I have a slight revision, dear Priscilla, and the reason is that all offenses, especially sexual offenses, by people in the position of power, taking advantage of their authority over their subordinate, male or female, should be taken serious. The case that will lead to saying that a minister or a member of parliament should face the police and answer questions, we should also remember the victims. Oh, if you touch my knee, did you touch my knee because we are friends, or because you are my superior, or because you are my boss? Some people live with that and they fear. And a lot of people stay at home drinking excessively because somebody has done something to you. You feel it just doesn't call for it.
You just feel violated.
You feel violated, and some people, it can affect them. So let us look at the victims as well. Now, when these cases go to the investigation level, when you come and say somebody has touched me, or somebody has spoken to me, or somebody, people, those who receive it will ask questions.
But then it seems to be there's a culture of who do you actually go to report these cases to? Because the person you're supposed to go to is the person that's employed you to work.
That is earlier position. Now, these things that are coming up now is that we need to have a better place of who to report to. Now, the police is coming in. In these cases, I think other things are coming in. And what they will do is question you and question the person accusing you. Then at that time, they'll be able to establish whether there is really a case or not. But if someone has resigned his position, that's I'm talking about the Welsh minister, member of parliament, has one resigned as a member of Labour Party, resigned his position, gone home, and having to commit suicide while investigation is going on. Although most of them are saying these are things that happen. In the past, these are normal way of life. But now, we are drawing a line under it. Okay. So if you feel there's too much questions to answer and he can't
I don't think he resigned. I think the Labour MP was sacked.
So
the one that killed himself, he was sacked. And
was he not suspended?
Yeah, it was suspended.
It was suspended pending investigation.
Yes, his family came out and said that he was really hurt because he wasn't given opportunity to defend himself.
Well,
but hold on. So is that why he had to take his life?
I mean, probably there's more than
Nobody
that.
knows.
For him to even be suspended.
Exactly. There's
and
more
then
to
there's
it.
more. Maybe he did more than we heard, and more is coming out.
Okay.
And he's looking for a way.
Priscilla,
But it's very unfortunate.
One more story before we move on.
Is this story of the foreign minister and the Iranian woman that's currently in Iranian jail?
Boris Johnson.
I just don't understand how a foreign minister will make such a mistake. And realizing it's almost as if he wasn't aware of the sensitivity of the situation.
It's not the first time he's made such horrendous statement. I mean, not a few weeks ago, he said something about Libya. If they can clear out the dead bodies in Libya.
I mean, this is classic Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, where it involves lives, where somebody's life is at stake, somebody's held in prison on charges, and somebody's likely to be held in prison for a longer period of time. I think he needs to be a lot more careful. I personally think that perhaps the Prime Minister needs to look into now perhaps moving him on. Yes, I think so, because, you know, if it were somebody else, I don't think Boris would keep silent on the issue.
But then that's the weakness what some people are claiming of Theresa May, the fact that she's not able to stamp her authority with regards to Boris Johnson.
Well, I understand the game she was playing by putting him in that after the whole, you know, Brexit debacle. Yeah. So you put him there, and which was great because you know that should you know, clamp his deal with him and clip his wings and all of that. But at this point now, at this juncture, we've achieved that now. It's time to let him go. You can't continue, as it were, to endanger, because you're effectively, he's in a position, he's supposed to be protecting the British citizen, not be the one that is now going to, you know, being the reason for her to remain in prison. I think he needs to go.
I think that case.
Quickly before we move on,
it's a bit, you know, he came out to apologize and tried to say probably people misunderstood him.
No, we didn't misunderstand. He said it. I think
Boris
it's journalism. That's what he said.
His words.
But what we heard was that the person in Iran who is the bone of contention here, that the minister said what some of us were not comfortable with. According to them, she was training journalists how to do their work in Iran.
According to Boris.
Yeah.
Yeah, according to Boris, Nazanin was training journalists.
Good.
But according to her family, because she's Iranian and her parents are out there, she was on holiday with her daughter because she wanted her daughter to meet her grandparents.
Well, you see, there are so many versions coming up, but there's one important thing. She is a British. She's not Iranian. Her parents are Iranians. She is a British. She went on holiday. Is she on holiday, or she also have feeling that maybe the government in power is a bit autocratic and they are not right?
Well, the
and maybe
official
the media there are not doing very well. Maybe she may even want to set up a radio station there.
Maybe.
So we don't know. But what Boris Johnson is saying is that
what her family is saying is that she was on holiday.
Well,
and she is of Iranian heritage. She was on holiday, and we accept. We don't.
Who do we now hear? Is it the family or the official position of the state? Now, the minister is saying that we know there are wrongs, but we will work hard. And I think that is what we want. Because one thing you have to understand, the Iranians have made up their mind, whatever you do. It is better for the British Because one thing, if the Iranian decides to go to the next level, which we don't wish for, and they make some harsh decision, what will happen is that we'll be biting our fingers.
Don't forget,
with them and get
whatever
their
decision
house.
the Iranians make, it's up to the foreign minister to step up to intervene. However, should the foreign minister make such statement, which more or less puts the girl in the tight corner where she cannot come out, then
No. The Iranians, remember, at this point in time, they hold the cards. So what you have to do, give them. You see, there's a saying that let us just call them the gods, so that they give us what we want, isn't it? Let's call them kings and princes. What he's doing here is that he's trying to get them to his side.
After the comment he made.
Yes, it works better because they say, oh, this is our friend now, rather than feeling he's our enemy. As long as they feel he is their enemy and they're on the opposite side.
Are you aware that they will say, well, your foreign minister said it, and therefore, he has confirmed our worst fears?
Yes, he can still say that, and they can still turn around. Yeah, it's better than coming hard. Let us look at hard diplomacy.
He didn't have to come hard.
And soft diplomacy. So let us work around that one. And let's
hope
she comes.
All right, anyway. let's move on. Let's move on. If you're just tuning into to our discussion today, this is Talk Africa. We're just touching on the news that made the headlines here in the UK. We're going to turn our attentions to news that made the headlines across the continent. Later on in the game, well, it's a game, isn't it?
Well.
Later on in the show, we will look at our main topic of the day. And then after that, we'll have an interview with the Gold Coast team, which is a company within the GND here. We'll have an interview with them this morning. Okay, Kofi, let's start with you.
Is it still in Britain now?
No, we're moving on from Britain now. We're moving across to the continent.
Oh, to the continent.
Okay, whilst you get yourself together, let me remind viewers and listeners that they can contribute on the show. What you need to do is call this number 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. You can also send us text message on 0793-286-1328. Govi?
Yes, what we have here is Western armies face uphill battle in African Sahel. And we all know what is happening in the the Sahel region. Technically, most part of the Sahel region are the West African, just a bit above the West African coasts. And what we have there, we're talking about the Mali, we're talking about Niger, we are talking about Northern Cameroon, we are talking about Chad, Senegal. And we have serious crisis going on there. It says snipers from a new West African force lie prone on the rooftop in central Mali, scanning the horizon for Islamist fighters who have infiltrated this sparsely populated region south of the Sahara and made it a launch pad for deadly attack. They say thousands of UN peacekeepers, French troops, US military, and drones operators have failed to stem growing wave of Muslim fighters in Mali, leading to international powers to pin their hopes on the new regional force. Now, some of us have challenges with this kind of news, and the reason is simple. How did it got so much out of hand? We in the 80s, or late 70s and 80s, came up with a group called ECOMOG. ECOMOG is supposed to be a military West African intervention to step in when there's a crisis that the country cannot manage. Whether they are Islamists, because this word Islamists, terrorists, and so forth, is getting out of hand. There might be so many reasons why these people are taking arms. Sometimes economic reasons, sometimes they feel marginalized. But the problem is when we say now they are Islamists, of course, naturally, people from that part of the world are likely to be Muslims. Not 95% of the people in that area because of the northern part of African influence. Now, we call them Islamists. We couldn't manage it, right? And there is crisis there. Now we have drones flying. We have foreign military on the ground, shooting people at will. We have French soldiers there. So we are saying that, something. Of course, if we can't manage ourselves, it's allowed for others to come in because the world cannot sit down for things to be wrong. They also have multinational companies there that are working, and they want their staffs working there to live in peace. If we have allowed them to come into work and there's a job to do, why not? Part of the global trade. But the problem we are having is that I think the West African forces, we need to start asking fundamental questions, because the soldier that shoot, right, and the gun he uses, they are all jobs. Our biggest problem in West Africa is lack of jobs. So if we employ our own people to be everywhere, after all, in America, they also have people who are shooting every day anyway. They go to church and shoot everyone. So what we are also saying is that we don't send people there to go and fight. Why? We should be able to deal with this issue. And I think this brings ECOWAS into the limelight.
Your main issue is we don't need foreign UN to come in.
I would say we don't need.
So what
as at the reality on the ground now, if we are not capable of managing ourselves, others will have to come in. When we organize ourselves, remember, we sit down.
But we have organized
We
ourselves.
are not organized enough.
What happened in Gambia, ECOWAS were able to deploy
No. We need to understand. We need to understand when, you can see what's happening in Brexit. When you are negotiating, it's like you are sending military men to places. You must have a clear chain of command. The authority must be clear. The authority must have its law. Why did we disband ECOMOG? The reason is that we don't have a working parliament to make laws.
Okay.
So if you don't have a working parliament to make laws, you send soldiers, they might even end up killing themselves.
All right, let's move on to the
Friendly
next.
fire.
Let's move on to the next one, Kofi.
When it comes to these wars in these supposed poor African countries, one question always comes to mind, and that is that when the country is so poor, who's funding the war? That's the question that we have to answer for ourselves as Africans, because war is not cheap. We can't say that Mali is a poor African country, but we're able to sustain a war for 10 years, for 15, for 20, 30, as we're seeing in Eritrea and the Ethiopian region, and all of that the East African bloc there. We cannot continue, in the Horn of Africa rather, sorry, we can't continue, as it were, to turn a blind eye or to not ask the right questions.
We have to.
Or to not deal with it. It is our fundamental duty.
Yeah.
It's not sufficient. I don't accept or agree that these militia groups just sort of pop out of nowhere and everybody is struggling for power, and it's because everybody is struggling for power that we must continually have these wars for as long as they go on.
The question, Priscilla, is who deal with it? Whether it's poverty we are addressing or whether it's the war. Well, Mali is not that poor as we are told. In that desert, there are uranium. In that desert, you have iron ore, one of the world's largest deposits.
Could that be the trigger for the war?
Yeah. No, that is not. I think we need to understand. If the forest is a forest, lions will go into feed. We need to understand we should take responsibility. When we say we, in this case, I'm a West African. I need to make myself clear. I'm an ECOWAS citizen. Remember, I'm here on the platform of ECOWAS Citizens' Rights Advocates. And we are saying that the people who are dying are ECOWAS citizens. Now, who is giving the command? When a soldier is sent to Mali to go and fight, let's take a good case. And the soldier is sent there, who pays salary? Is it, if he's a Nigerian, is it paid by ECOWAS or is paid by the Nigerian government? Is the war Nigerian war? Is the war Ghanaian war? And in what currency do we pay them? Cedis or dollar? So these are the questions we were trying to ourselves.
Yeah, okay. Priscilla, any stories?
Yes, I have. My point of interest is the fact that Burundi has resigned, is no longer a member of the ICC. You recall that the International Criminals Court it has attracted a lot of criticisms, because the criticisms is that why is it that it's only African leaders that are taken into the International Criminals Court and prosecuted, as it were. We don't see a lot of the non-African leaders, although I must say that those who governed the former Yugoslavia, they've had their day in court at the ICC, but outside of that, we've not seen much of that. But Burundi decided to make an application because according to the Rome Statute, there is a permission in there where you can give notice to quit membership of the club, as it were, and Burundi submitted that notice, and a year later, 27th of October, they were able to say, hey, out of the ICC. And I think it's good to an extent, in the sense that it's good that avenue is there where you could say, okay, we no longer want to be a member of the ICC. But I think at the same time, we need to. I personally think that it's important that we understand the role that the ICC plays, because we do need our leaders do need to be kept in check. Yeah. And there needs to be some form of accountability. So, I wouldn't want to see everybody jumping up and following this example, for instance, and saying we want, out of the ICC. But I do also think that there's a requirement on the part of the ICC to also play fair. Because if Tony Blair is being said to, there's some accusations, against him. I think it's only fair if he could answer some questions at the ICC too, because it is the International Criminals Court, not the Africans Criminals Court.
All right. On that note, Obi, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our topics, and then we'll move on to our main topic of the day. We'll be right back.
Majority of you only pay attention to us after years of unremittent persistence and rejections, whilst we challenge the way it has always been done. We have made courageous decisions many of you wouldn't dare dream, forgetting you can live it when you dream it. Wake up with an idea. Research the egg out of the idea. Write a massive business plan. Raise money and create business. Wave goodbye to friends and families as your life is now your business. Stick with it, even on the bad days. Following your massive expansion into a worldwide domination, retire to your favorite highland or go back to step one and wash, rinse and repeat.
The CEO's Chair, showing on GNTV UK.
I love social media. I mean, I am social media. So I've decided I'm going to hijack your screens for the next 60 minutes as we surf through your Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and all of it. The key is to listen, engage, and build relationships. Social media is not just any media. It means fun and connecting to your favorite personalities online from any part of the globe. And when I say fun, I mean real fun. FNN Social.
Are you doing something illegal in there?
No. What? Your lesbian fixation? Huh? You call that a lesbian fixation? It is happening live. I am just coming from their room.
Rama, this cannot continue. We cannot continue hiding our true feelings.
Hey, why are you locking the door?
He who carries the load knows his weight.
So what do we do now?
We bang on the door till she opens it.
What the hell is going on?
We just came out of that room and what we saw there didn't even come close to two women.
You know, sometimes the trap doesn't catch the prey you set it for.
Why Solombi? These girls are becoming troublesome.
Are we supposed to tell our clients to wait so we go buy shampoo? We deliver to our clients irrespective of our challenges.
I shall be back. You won't get rid of me so easily.
E-News Redefined. Wondering what's going on in the life of your favorite entertainment personality? Wonder no more, because the Daily Setbit has got you covered with the latest in entertainment news, gossip, fact, rumors, and of course, some sizzling interviews.
Not just that, did you know actor Jimmy Foxx's real name is Eric Malone Bishop? I bet you did you know. On the Did You Know segment, we bring you some mind-boggling facts you might not know about your favorite celebrity.
We don't only set the trend with our stories, we bring you trending videos and images that have gone viral on social media. Your entertainment just got better.
Next time, nah joke with no Nas family. I hear me. I feel that.
Foreigners are in deciding for us, I mean, what to do when it comes to our music. This is just so not cool.
Charlie, just forget them. If you're not ready to pay our artist like a $30,000 or $90,000, then where are we going?
Talented case. You go see no one kid can't they stay top. They do small acrobatics here and there, or people they clap. Why this kid get talent? How?
Instead of beefing each other, Ghanaian artists can actually join hands together and promote themselves internationally.
Hello and welcome back to Talk Africa with me, Jones Ewa. I'm in the studio with Priscilla Nwakpo. Priscilla is a journalist, and also Kofi Ali. Kofi Ali is an ECOWAS Citizens Rights Advocate. Kofi Ali, I'm sure our listeners and viewers are familiar with you now. Kofi Ali loves to talk about ECOWAS. We spoke about it, I think, on Tuesday, didn't we?
Yeah, and that's what we'll be talking about almost every day.
Yeah, we'll get back to it, don't worry.
If you don't talk about yourself, if you're a Christian, you talk about God. If you're a Muslim, you talk about Islam and God.
Okay, so just to let you know, we're streaming live on Facebook, GNTV UK. You can go on our Facebook page and you can leave your comments on there. I've seen that a few people have started leaving comments. We will read your comments out. If you want to call into the studio once the discussion begins, it's 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. If you want to send a text message, it's 0793-286-1328. Now let's move on to our main topic of the day. Now before that, you wanted to
yes,
finish
quickly,
up,
please.
I
believe that we are given this important platform so that we stop doing the blame game and take responsibility. Tell the world what is our problem and how we are working to solve it. When you have a bunch of weed smokers, and the police and the court...
A bunch of what?
Weed smokers, cannabis smokers. And the police is saying they are causing problem in the community, and the police and the court are dealing with them. And they say, no, we don't want the police, we don't want the court. Then you should stop doing what is lawless. It means they must find a way, an alternative of dealing with that problem. Burundi said they don't want to be part of ICC. The function of ICC, really, in as much as some of us feel we are being witch hunt, and when you look at the world indeed, we have more problem on the continent of Africa than anywhere, as far as lawlessness and impunity is concerned.
I don't think we have
more problems. I disagree with that.
No. Finish. We may disagree, but there's something we are not realizing. Maybe our next counterpart will be, what's the name of this, India. But there's a difference. We don't have internal mechanism to control that. So if we tell the ICC, we don't want you, you're a European court, you are not fair, the Russians have got their court as a group, a union of nations. Americans have got their court as union of nations at the federal level. So you have the Indians, they can catch their terrorists and decide what to do with them. The same as Chinese. These people can afford to say, we don't want to be part of ICC. In our case, internally, if there's a state of impunity, who do the people fall on? That technically binds us to these people. You can't run away from the court. You must provide an alternative. We have the African Court of Justice based in the Gambia under the African Union, because every court watch anywhere. Even the ICC claimed to be part of United Nations. So you must be part of an authority.
The ICC is part of the United Nations.
No. It just became, if you read their history, you will see very well. It was not formed for that purpose. That's why some countries say they are not part of it. But that's why you have a choice. United Nations, you are just technically there. All the institutions of United Nations, you don't need to go and sign anything. Technically, you fall into it because they are interconnected. But let us come back here. With the African Court of Justice, the African Union, as an institution responsible for the African Court of Justice, technically is seeming not to be equipped enough to deal with this issue. It's based in the Gambia, where Fatou Bensouda came from. And I'm sure Fatou Bensouda really has seen that the one in the Gambia is not a place she can really have to be able to do her job. Then we have another one, ECOWAS Court of Justice. So I'm sure most of the regional bodies have got their own Court of Justice.
But then the problem with all of these courts that you're mentioning is their ineffectiveness, their inability to have the kind of impact that they should have.
Priscilla.
And that is why an institution like
Priscilla.
the ICC, which seems to have, perhaps because it embodies, goes beyond Africa, is why it seems to have a different kind of impact. I don't disagree that the witch hunt is real. I don't disagree where that's concerned.
We are saying there is witch hunt. That's our claim here, isn't it? That is why Burundi is living. That is not fair. What alternative are we putting on the ground? Now we have the alternative. The alternative is not functioning. So what can we do to make the alternative function? You see where I'm coming from. We have the ECOWAS Court of Justice could have been an absolute court that you don't need to go to anywhere. If you can't get your problems solved in your country, you go there.
I think the issue here, the fundamental issue here is very simple. It's a case where African leaders do not respect institutions. They do not abide by institutions.
Priscilla,
they are above the law. They are above the law.
No. Let us get some. No. When you say African leaders, be patient with me. Let's stop. Let's address the
Kofi, please let Priscilla carry on.
Why I think
we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you. Priscilla, let Priscilla carry on.
Because if in order for institutions to be effective, and for it to be able to stand, all parties to it must respect and regard its rules and regulations. And unfortunately, we don't have situations. For instance, ECOWAS court, what did they say to Buhari? They demanded that President Buhari of Nigeria to release a prisoner, and to pay 15 million or so in.
And he disregarded it.
Thank you. So when you blatantly do that, you make that court ineffective. And as long as we have leaders who do that and get away with it, in a situation like the ICC, that is why the ICC exists. Because if we did not fail on our part to build institutions that were credible, relevant, accountable, there will not be a need for, because the main point of the existence of the ICC is what? Is to look into human rights abuses. Human rights abuses are prevalent across the continent.
Yes.
And we are not, African Union does not stand sufficiently. After 50 years, the African Union says they're looking forward to another 50 years.
Our job is to solve the problem, please. Our job is not to be talking about, be patient. You said must. When you use the word must, you understand? Respect the institution. Nobody voluntarily. Must means if you don't, you'll be punished. The one that will punish you might be superior to you, might be stronger than you, isn't it? You told Buhari that release the man. He knows you can't do anything to him. So what Barack Obama then said, strengthen your institution. So what he's telling you that make the ECOWAS institution, if that is, or the African, whichever one you want to go by, to tell Buhari for Buhari to listen, make it stronger than Buhari. And you are sitting there, you have not done that because you don't know how to do that. And you say they don't respect that. They will never. Criminal. Nobody respect law. Nobody. The fear of what the law can do to you is why you conform.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
ICC will come after you.
Let's move on to our main topic of the day.
If you give instruction, you don't. They want
let's move on. Let's move on. Now, this, as I said in my introduction, whenever this topic comes up, everybody gets on board and we're quick to point fingers, especially when certain individuals are exposed. Okay, we're talking about corruption. Whenever corruption is mentioned, I don't need to list the names. I'm sure you yourself, Africa as a whole, fighting corruption, is it a losing battle, Priscilla?
No, I don't think fighting corruption is a losing battle. I think, again, it goes back to just what we've just mentioned. First of all, it goes back to accountability. It goes back to convictions. It goes back to political will, having the political will and being prepared. And it goes back to, in order for it to the fight to have an impact and to be real, all parties of society must participate. Because the corruption that we see on the continent, for instance, is reported to cost us something like $148 billion a year. That's serious money, and it's happening right across Africa. I'm not saying that corruption is something that only happens in Africa. Far from it. It happens everywhere. Yeah. But I think the problem that we see when it comes to Africa is the nature of it, the size of it, and the manner in which it is done. you know, you can't take away 90% of a budget for building hospitals and expect a hospital to stand. 10% it's not going to do anything. But, you know, if you were to have worked it the other way around, for instance, you know, my problem is that these people do not, they still as though they, you know, it's like they need that money to flow like water. And it's especially annoying that they will steal that money and go and invest elsewhere. In Dubai.
Yeah.
They will go and invest in somebody else's country. Why can't you invest in your country and create jobs, create industries, and take people and deal with poverty and all of that? But they take so much of the money, they continually deplete and leave their countries. You know, unfortunately, the latest report is suggesting that very soon Nigeria will be equal to India in poverty rating. I mean, it's ridiculous when you consider just how much money that we have in these African countries. It's wearing.
Let's go back, if we can go to the grassroots. Let's see if we can try and underpin exactly how all this started across the continent post colonial masters. A lot of people have said during the times where a lot of the countries had the colonial masters involved, the institutions that were set up at that time were to check one another. However, post the colonial masters, the institutions ended up, rather than checking whoever's leading them, were there to make sure whoever was at the top, they were serving them. So you have the likes of the police, you have the military, you have the ministers, rather than checking to see what's going on. Even the judiciary, the legislator, rather than checking what's going on, they're just there to serve the government.
You see, corruption, the question you asked my sister Priscilla, is it failing Africa? You understand?
Are we losing the battle?
Absolutely, we are losing the battle. Absolutely. Why? Because our definition of corruption is wrong. If you understand, corruption is the misuse of the law for purpose other than the intended purpose of the law. If you put a police officer somewhere to do something, and the police officer is there by law, you understand, or a teacher is in the classroom by law to teach, the law itself specifies exactly how the teacher should teach, how the police officer should work. Then the police officer stood there. Anybody who passes there, he put his hand out and they give him money and they walk away. The police officer is selling the law. Can you see that? Then everybody else who is passing saw the police officer selling the law. Because if he's not a police officer, nobody will be giving him money. Now, when you saw it, what did you do? You also turned a blind eye. It means you support the police officer to sell the law. Now, this is it.
No, but then if you don't turn a blind eye, what could you possibly do?
Thank you. What you can do. You see, the law, every society is made up of people and institutions. People are you and I. And we make the institutions whatever we are, because the purpose of the institution is to serve us, and we're serving the institution.
No, but that's not the case, though. The institution does not serve the people.
The institutions serve the people. Let me give you a good example.
They should do, but they don't.
Let me give you a good example in this country, and I observed it when I was schooling in Nigeria. You see, let me give you simplest form of corruption. When you are selling, there is a measure. That's why we have standard for all sales. Now, some society use bowl. Some use scales. People can twist the scale.
Yeah.
When you twist the scale, 1 pound thing you are selling will be sold for something for 50p will be sold for 1 pound. In society like United Kingdom, where the laws are clear, people are employed. Standard, every local government have got it. By law, they will come to your shop. You are not expecting. They will take the container away. Or if it's a container, which the Nigerians do very well, because they do measure rice and so forth in a container. So they do have people there. But still the people find a way around it so that they can sell more. They can get more money for less. The same thing you have, those who are supposed to be checking can collaborate with them. Now, if the person who is committing the crime know that he can be arrested and punished, they take your scale away. Check the scale. You don't know they are coming. They come and check your meat. They come and, because the purpose of law is to serve the citizens. Now, when all these are coming, you are making your money, putting it in your pocket, then the whole society became one. Then the people migrate through that to public offices. My father was corrupt, used corruption money to educate me. My junior brother doesn't believe in corruption, so he failed in life. I imitated my father, so I'm stepping into that. Okay. Then we all get into, you have become a judge, you become a politician.
But it hasn't always been like that.
Now, what I'm trying to say here, Priscilla, what you end up doing is that the whole society, and that is why when the colonial masters left, we have a problem, because our problem is that we couldn't design our culture to understand that it must be clear.
No.
Authority.
We had a culture before the colonial masters came in.
And what is the culture?
And that culture at that time, we were not thieves.
Hey!
Hold on.
We were not thieves. Priscilla, just hold on. Just hold on for a minute. Priscilla, just make a note. Just put it down. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, Priscilla, I'll give you more time to explain yourself. We were not thieves indeed. We'll be right back.
Whether we are thieves or not, every society has thieves.
I love social media. I mean, I am social media. So I've decided I'm going to hijack your screens for the next 60 minutes as we surf through your Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and all of it. The key is to listen, engage, and build relationships. Social media is not just any media. It means fun and connecting to your favorite personalities online from any part of the globe. And when I say fun, I mean real fun. FNN Social.
Next time, not joke with no Nuts family. I hear me. I feel that.
Foreigners are in deciding for us, I mean, what to do when it comes to our music. This is just so not cool.
Charlie, just forget them. If you're not ready to pay our artist like a $30,000 or $90,000, then where are we going?
Talented case, you go see no one kid can't they stay top. They do small acrobatics here and there, or people they clap. Why this kid get talent? How?
Instead of beefing each other, Ghanaian artists can actually join hands together and promote themselves internationally.
E-News Redefined. Wondering what's going on in the life of your favorite entertainment personality? Wonder no more, because the Daily Setbit has got you covered with the latest in entertainment news, gossip, facts, rumors, and of course, some sizzling interviews.
Not just that, did you know actor Jimmy Fox's real name is Eric Malon Bishop? I bet you didn't know. On the Did You Know segment, we bring you some mind-boggling facts you might not know about your favorite celebrity.
We don't only set the trend with our stories, we bring you trendy videos and images that have gone viral on social media. Your entertainment just got better.
Majority of you only pay attention to us after years of unremittent persistence and rejections, whilst we challenge the way it has always been done. We have made courageous decisions many of you wouldn't dare dream, forgetting you can live it when you dream it. Wake up with an idea. Research the egg out of the idea. Write a massive business plan. Raise money and create business. Wave goodbye to friends and families as your life is now your business. Stick with it, even on the bad days. Following your massive expansion into a worldwide domination, retire to your favorite highland or go back to step one and wash, rinse and repeat.
The CEO's Chair, showing on GNTV UK.
Majority of you only pay attention to us after years of unremittent persistence and rejections, whilst we challenge the way it has always been done. We have made courageous decisions many of you wouldn't dare dream, forgetting you can live it when you dream it. Wake up with an idea. Research the egg out of the idea. Write a massive business plan. Raise money and create business. Wave goodbye to friends and families as your life is now your business. Stick with it, even on the bad days. Following your massive expansion into a worldwide domination, retire to your favorite highland or go back to step 1 and wash, rinse and repeat.
The CEO's Chair, showing on GNTV UK.
Welcome back to Talk Africa with me, John Sewa. In the studio today, we have Priscilla Inwakbo. Priscilla is a journalist here in the UK, and also Kofi Ali. Kofi Ali is an ECOWAS citizens' rights advocate. If you just joined us, we were talking about corruption. Are we fighting a losing battle? Is Africa fighting a losing battle when it comes to corruption? Priscilla, you wanted to make a point before we went on a break.
Indeed, I was saying that we were not always corrupt, because we're discussing corruption post-colonial Africa.
Yes.
And post-colonial Africa, we were people of substance. We were people that we organized ourselves. We had our various communities. We had our kings, and we ran businesses and industries. You know, and that is our history. Unfortunately, that was marred by slavery. It was marred by, you know, the colonial masters coming in and all of that. And even in our recent history, as recent as the 50s and so on, you know, I have often heard it being said, when Nigerians, for instance, or Ghanaians came to the United Kingdom in those days, they came to study. That's all they did. They were different to the West Indians who were brought in who came in from the West Indies to settle here. And Africans came in to study, and they studied. They were decent people. They were upright people. They were not corrupt in their ways. They studied, and as soon as they were done, most of them were heading back to their country. They did not live within the United Kingdom to try and look for how to steal, or, you know, how they were going to, if you like, disrupt the nation with the terrible habits that we have today. Unfortunately, when we move forward today, how did we get into this position, the state that we're in? Yeah. It has not been solely because as Africans, that was what we went out to do. I believe, you know, this has happened because it's been encouraged, you know, and it has been supported, and it has been handed to us. And unfortunately, we have grabbed it and imbibed it into our system, and we are running with it, which is why it is the way it is. You know, I know that there are laws around the world where they say, for instance, they have things like the politically exposed person that they keep an eye on when they come in and out of the country and so on. You're not allowed to move certain amount of money from here to there. Yeah. There are, you know, all of these laws that are in to prevent money laundering. But how is it still possible for African leaders to cart away the millions that they do, and they can still buy properties in the United Kingdom?
That's a question.
It's because there is an avenue that it can be done, and it's because it is you know, they turn a blind eye.
And
it's
because
they welcome it, and
yes.
they work and they encourage it. So the corruption that we have in Africa, it's not because we are inherently corrupt, but I think it's because we have bought into something, and it's being encouraged and supported.
Okay, let me take this message from Facebook. This is from Michael AJ. Michael AJ is saying, we need to take responsibility, get long-term thinking leaders who think about the future, not themselves and their pockets. Good negotiators should come in, give the parties fighting a balance. What? Okay, I think what Michael's trying to say is good negotiators should come in to give the parties fighting the balance where there will be a win-win situation. Okay, that's from Michael. Keep your thoughts and contribution coming. We've got a few text messages. I will read it very, very soon. If you want to call into the studio, the number is 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. If you want to send a text message, it's 0793-286-132. 8. Kofi, during the break, you made one comment where you said a former president said corruption existed since the time of Adam. However, go on.
And that again then tell us that what the man said is a fact. Corruption is human.
Yeah.
You see, when we don't accept, it's like going to toilet. It's human. What we should be talking about is how do we build the facilities so that people will not be pressed to do it at the wrong place and encourage them to do it at the right place.
Can I interject, Kofi? During, especially across Africa, when it's election time, you have somebody who wants to become a president saying, when I come in, I'll fight against corruption. I'll fight against corruption.
Yeah.
The moment he comes in, then it becomes a witch hunt.
Yes.
And then his party, though corruption is going on in his party, he turns a blind eye.
Yes.
He or she turns a blind
Yes.
eye.
Yes.
So then, if what you're saying is
human,
is human, what measures are we putting in place to stop this?
You see, first of all, let us see where we started from and see where we are so that we can know where we are going and what is wrong. Now, in the past, we had what we call, I would say, the medieval. If you look at our so-called culture, our way of life is at the medieval level. It's at a rudiment level. So what we are doing, one, are not recorded. We live in small communities. Our resources around us, if it's land, there's land everywhere. Yeah, so you don't need to go and bribe someone to have a land. Maybe, getting people to help you with your job, your family. You don't need too much food at the time. When then the slave trade came, with the slave trade came a different culture. But even then, the slave trade was there, but it was trans-Sahara. It was on the Sahara, right? The influence of the Arabians and the Northern African were not as impactful. Wars were in our place. Remember, we are human beings. So one will have a better land than the other. So there will be attack. Communities and whatever they want to colonize themselves. So when the Europeans started coming in, they came with a more advanced culture that I'll call more advanced culture with all due respect. When that culture came in, certain things, trade started changing. The definition of life, society, government, law start changing. Now, remember, the old law, the chief or the family in the community deal with things there. So the law within the small groups were for them working. That is not saying there won't be a man murdering his wife. There won't be a case of rape and so on. At that time, that doesn't mean what it means to us later. So when these ones came and started buying, urbanization has started. Now, new knowledge has come in. Like you rightly said, after the slave trade and so on and so forth, right, we then started coming here because we have to go to school, we have to learn how things are done. New nation have been formed, new laws are in place. Instead of catching you and using you for human sacrifice, therefore you to even kill someone, the governor general says no. Now what is happening is that now you have two cultures coming together. The two cultures is that we are taking in the new culture that now can make room for corruption because there is now exchange of goods and services in a different form.
Hold on, Kofi. Priscilla, would you, based on what Kofi is saying, would you say that democracy in a way has hindered the fight against corruption?
No, it hasn't. If we were using democracy in the way that democracy should be
used, speak up a little bit for me.
If democracy was being utilized was permitted to be effective in the manner that it is intended, then we wouldn't have a situation where corruption is running away with our nations as it is. Because I think that within democracy, institutions are supposed to work. Within democracy, we're all supposed to have a say. Within democracy, as I said, a couple of days ago, it's about, everybody participating and playing their role. In this regard, citizens are not demanding are not asking questions of their leaders. And so, let's take, for instance, currently now in Nigeria, the new administration came into office. In their first year, their budget was some 6 trillion naira. They couldn't fund it. In the second year, the budget went up to 7 trillion naira, couldn't fund it fully. Today, just a couple of days ago, the budget has been announced again, and it's what, 8 trillion naira. So we go up 1 trillion by the year. The question now is, How are you going to fund it? Now, if you have not been able to fund the 6 trillion, the 7 trillion, then why then are you making it an 8 trillion budget? Should we not, should then the society not stand up and say, pause, you haven't been able to fund the last 2 budgets. Now you're bringing a budget that is bigger than the last 2 budgets. How do you intend to fund it?
But then,
and if we cannot fund our budgets, is it right for you to continue to increase the amount of the budget? Should we not be doing other things within? Do we need to reduce the cost of governance? Where do we need to make the cuts? Where and this was someone who came in promising to plug all the loopholes, as he called it, and so on. So nobody's asking these questions. He has announced the budget. He has spent an hour explaining. Everybody's clapping. And that's it.
I've spoken to a few. I've spoken to a few Nigerians, and they all seem to be in favour of Buhari with regards to corruption, especially.
Well, in favour, if you say in favour, in what? Yes, there are a lot of people that support, for various reasons and all of that. But
when it comes to corruption,
when it comes
tackling
to
corruption,
when it comes to tackling and dealing with corruption, we have yet to see the results of his actions. We've heard a lot of figures, and there's been a lot of figures mentioned and allegations that has been thrown in the air of money found here and there, but they are not able to say this is exactly how much we have recovered, or to say we're taking so-and-so persons to court and being prosecuted adequately. We have not been, the accountability is non-existent. Yeah. So the fight sounds more like, propaganda rather than an effective fight that is preventative. Because in order for you to fight, to say you're fighting corruption effectively, you need to tell us what you have put in place to prevent the act of corruption taking place within governance, as it were. What are the preventative measures? We don't know. Then you need to tell us what the consequence will be if you're found to be corrupt. We're yet to hear what the consequence will be. We're yet to see anybody that's really been adequately prosecuted that isn't said to be an attack on the opposition. We want to see a genuine case of we're fighting corruption. Yes, although I know you, but your act was an act against our nation, against our people, against the community, those that you were put there to look after their interests. We haven't seen that yet. And so once again, it's another fight against corruption, seemingly either on the pages of newspaper or just in thin air.
Kofi, let me come to you, especially.
I think I want to react to it.
Okay, react to it.
There is a problem here.
What problem?
You see, what we have misunderstanding here is when you say budget, it's a statement of law. I think we have a problem with that understanding of that word. Governance, Buhari is not using military law. And it's not only in Nigeria. The whole of the continent, when we are saying we want democracy, we are not talking about dictatorship. So there are laws we are all following. Then they told you that the budget is increasing. Budget is increasing. And in some countries, they are running serious deficit. That is telling you that the country is importing more than they're exporting. That is telling you that the laws of the country are not working. So you ask yourself, for example, when you have a country and the president made a budget, then the president said, okay, the budget you have made, we are putting 50 billion in defense. And one person took the 50 billion or 10 billion or 6 billion out of it and he vanished into the tin. The president will want to go after the person, isn't it? Because the law says catch him. When you are going after him and the whole community call you names, then you see that it's connected to one ML, it's connected to that, it's connected to that. Then it becomes a challenge. You ask yourself, hold it up. If I go after these people like Abacha did, and I start putting them in prison, I start judging them, soon or later the whole community will turn against me because those people listen to the chief. They listen to the ML. The president to them is an outsider because that authority, as far as they are concerned, is
Pause for a moment. When you say the president is an outsider in
to
what
them,
way?
it's
to
not,
them.
Let me give you a good example. Umaru Diko, one good example, was said to have taken money and he came here. At that time, Buhari's first.
This was in 1984.
They want to catch him, and eventually, when Umaru Diko was going back to that Nigeria, they came to meet him at the airport. You see the way they met some people in Kumasi. They went to meet this man at the airport, drumming and dancing. They told the people that if he's corrupt, if he's a thief, he's our thief. So what you are having here
Hold on a minute. Omari Diko?
Omari Diko went back as a hero.
No, the Omari Diko situation was that Buhari was then the military president of Nigeria,
and he
tried to put him in a crate and put him
on
the
we
flight.
Are talking, that's not what I'm talking about. We understand that. We are moving on. We don't have time this morning. And remember, he said it was declared that he has
But you're saying that he went back.
And I'm saying that when he was going back,
you said he went back as a hero.
Prince, just wrap up before I take a
quick
break.
Well, on that very man that you've mentioned, he was put in a crate to be taken back.
We are talking about
the British, the Metropolitan Police, the British authorities intercepted because they said it was an act against human rights.
Yes.
Because all you needed to do was to use the diplomatic channels to get him back.
Okay.
If you want to prosecute and imprison him, that's fine, you can do that.
After that.
But he did not do that. After that, the man remained here, if I recall, in exile. He didn't go back to Nigeria.
But when he eventually went to Nigeria, what happened? He went. He went back. I am talking about when the man went back.
Okay, Kofi, let's go to your own backyard. Okay, we're talking about corruption. In 2016, okay, I've been told to move on, Kofi. But when we come back from the break, we'll delve into that situation because we're talking about corruption.
Every year, Attorney General, Auditor General take the case to the Parliament.
We're gonna take a quick break.
There's nothing you can do.
Kofi, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue. We'll take more of your calls and your comments. We'll be right back. You're listening and watching Talk Africa on GNTV and GN Radio.
Majority of you only pay attention to us after years of unremittent persistence and rejections, whilst we challenge the way it has always been done. We have made courageous decisions many of you wouldn't dare dream, forgetting you can live it when you dream it. Wake up with an idea. Research the egg out of the idea. Write a massive business plan. Raise money and create business. Wave goodbye to friends and families as your life is now your business. Stick with it, even on the bad days. Following your massive expansion into a worldwide domination, retire to your favorite highland or go back to step 1 and wash, rinse and repeat.
The CEO's Chair, showing on GNTV UK.
Are you doing something illegal in there?
No. What? Your lesbian fixation? Huh? You call that a lesbian fixation? It is happening live. I am just coming from their room.
Rama, this cannot continue. We cannot continue hiding our true feelings.
Hey, why are you locking the door?
He who carries the load knows his weight.
So what do we do now?
We bang on the door till she opens it.
What the hell is going on?
We just came out of that room and what we saw there didn't even come close to 2 women.
You know, sometimes the trap doesn't catch the prey you set it for.
Why Solombi? These girls are becoming troublesome.
Are we supposed to tell our clients to wait so we go buy shampoo? We deliver to our clients irrespective of our challenges.
I shall be back. You won't get rid of me so easily.
Beloved, God created man with the dust of the earth. God breathed the breath of life into mankind. So man became a living soul. It is therefore empirical to know and to understand that the earthly cannot survive without the heavenly. Faith today is designed to bring men and women of God from across the world to discuss developmental issues and current affairs backed by the scriptures and the gospels. This will enable us to have a better Ghana and a better world to live in. My name is Apostle Owahim Omaria Champon. I'm going to be your regular host. Remember, the light of God will shine. Don't miss it.
Hello and welcome back to Talk Africa with me, Joes Ewa, in the studio. If you just tune in, what we're discussing this morning is we're talking about Africa, of course, and we're talking about corruption. Okay, Corruption in Africa, are we fighting a losing battle?
Absolutely.
Kofi is saying yes. Priscilla is saying no. I'd like to hear from you. The number to call is 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. If you want to send a text message, it's 0793-286-1328. During the break, Kofi said to me I didn't give him enough time to respond to Priscilla. Kofi, so I'll give you a quick, a few minutes to respond to Priscilla before
your question
we
is a very, very important question. Are we fighting a loose battle in corruption? We are fighting a loose battle in everything. Everything, every front. So don't let us look at one and leave others. Why are we losing the battle? The battle we are fighting, it looks like we don't understand what we are doing. Right. We ask that we want to govern ourselves. And the understanding is, if you look at those who fought for the independence, they were all wearing suits. None of them had clothes and batakali on their neck. They were supposed to be wearing suits. They were trained, educated in the modern way of doing things. Contracts are supposed to be signed. Governance has changed. Is that not the base on which we want them there? And then we say, okay, how do we even get people? We say we'll vote for them. Almost all the continent, everybody voted. Even those who started with war went to voting. So we wanted to do things in a civilized way. Is that not true? It means we have a different law we want to use. Those old laws, that I give you something, that I can take my child to come and live with you when you are not the parents and it's acceptable. They are still active. My sister's daughter is a slave in my house. What kind of culture is this? And we are trying to tell people that you cannot put the old wine, the new wine into the old skin. The two don't work together. Let us look. We even in the colonial time, when you put our people in offices, they do my brother, my brother. My brother, my brother is what? Stealing. At the end of the day, they loot the whole place. So now we are still doing my brother, my brother. So we don't, the law, the way we understand law is challenging. When you say, we are doing this, we are building road, we are doing that, we are selling land, we are apportioning this, we are educating children. It's all by law. Which law? We are never clear. That's our problem. We are not clear about which law is governing our life. We have been so loose that Christianity has come with their law, Muslims have come with their law, corruption. What kind of people go to church? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Every road has a church. And then they are collecting money from people.
And mosques.
And they are collecting money from people. What you do, is that not corruption? One law said that should be done. The only one that can collect money from you without telling you what they are going to do with the money on behalf of God is the state, the government. Then some people form a state in their own authority, collecting money from citizens, and everybody is sitting down. And they say, the people want to give and they give, they are giving to God. Okay. We all know the money doesn't go to God.
All right.
So what I'm trying to say here is that corruption is just, we have allowed, because there are so many laws. When you get up, you catch the pastor or you catch the imam, the group come and say, hey, the politician will back
All right,
off.
hold on for me, Kofi. Let me take a
The politician will back
Hello.
off. That's corruption.
Good morning, Sydney. Hello. Unfortunately, Sydney couldn't stay on the line. Sydney, you can call back, okay? Number is 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. If you want to text, it's 0793-286-1328. I have this in front of me, and
I quickly want to add.
No. Wait, hold on.
When the politician is dealing, the politician deal with individual, he's confident. But when the politician is dealing with the group, he's scared.
What you've touched on, you more or less touched on something that we'll call petty corruption. Okay, because these are the day-to-day, everyday.
They are part of the corruption, but part of the package.
Okay.
If I'm going to buy something and it's £1 and they say it's £10, and they sold the fake one to me, I am going to use that thing to do something. Is that not corruption?
Okay, but let's look at the political atmosphere. This is where most of the huge amount of money, when it comes to policies, when it comes to procurement, government interventions, whatever it is, this is where the big, as somebody would say, the whole scale of corruption really, you see the magnitudes come up. Priscilla, in Ghana, we have the current president who is looking to bring in a special prosecutor. Now, a lot of people have said that in itself wouldn't fight corruption. But if we're really serious, because one comment did say that we need serious leaders, something like this, because most of the times the government, if the government is going after somebody, they call it witch hunt. So, special prosecutor, that's the right way forward, no?
Well, you know, there's no point in bringing in a special prosecutor. I know that the same thing was proposed in Nigeria as well. No, Ribadu is no longer in existence in that
I'm
capacity.
talking about that office and what he does.
No, that's the EFCC.
That is the version they are talking about.
Okay, so that would be some kind of intelligence agency?
Yes, because they work on intelligence, but they
no,
will
the special
go after
prosecutor is different to an intelligence agency. But anyway, the situation is this. It sounds good bringing in a special prosecutor and all of that. You want to create a new department, is it, to now handle this matter of corruption. The problem here is that department cannot work or exist in isolation.
Yeah.
In order for it to be as effective as intended, you also need to make sure that all other agencies that they need to work with have to also have in place the ability to be accountable, the ability to be able to produce results that will stand any criticisms, that can withstand anything that is thrown at it. The biggest problem we have is that, you know, we're going to have create a special prosecutors department where we will now begin to act in a selective manner. I don't think anybody will object when it is clear cut that, look, this is what this man or this woman did. Now, Kofi, I know you were mentioning there that, oh, if you pull up a minister, for instance, you'll have all the community saying, no, you can't touch him. They do that out of ignorance. So it is on the onus is on those who are going who are effecting these laws to say, right, this is what happened. Did you know that this minister is here in the capacity to look after your interest? And we gave this amount of money for him to build roads. Did you see the roads? We gave this amount of money for hospitals to be built. Did you see the hospital? We also gave this amount of money for schools in your community to be developed. And no schools, no hospitals, no roads were developed. Where is the money? He has taken it. Do you think that any member of that community will still continue and say you cannot touch him?
Yes.
Very few will. The vast majority will say, this is not right. They will even begin the process of stoning him from there. So whatever we do, we need to be transparent. We need to be clear. The Special Prosecutors Agency or Department, it sounds like a great idea, but it cannot work in isolation. It will only work when we ensure that other arms of government that is supposed to support this agency is as clean, is as accountable, and it sounds righteous. Otherwise, it will just be another waste of money, time, and energy of the people of Ghana.
Kofi?
Yes, I like the dimension Priscilla is taking. And she's broadening it up, which is very important. Other arms of government, because we have to understand, we are migrating. What I mean by migrating, from one culture to another. Although some people are saying we'll never leave the old culture. And so we need to do the two at the same time. We are saying, no, we are moving forward. Now, we are failing to realize that 80 to 85% of people, and let me use the Ghanaian case, they vote for people, right, not on the basis of their idea or political or whatever, how righteous they are. They vote for you because of your affiliations, in most cases tribal. So when you get into the office, your job is to make sure that all the people from your tribe are given jobs. So what they do in the department, and that's how they migrate to the top. So when they get to the top, and the courts everywhere, everyone has got their cells. And you say you want to be what? Special prosecutor. At least your files will go round. And people have to feed you with information. So when you go and the information, we have place where we seize cocaine. And the cocaine was put in the hand of the police. The following day we went there, the cocaine became what? Kokonte. Cassava flour.
Cassava flour, yeah.
Powder. So what we are trying to say here is that, you see, we have a system that is making governance, politics a bit difficult. And what it's doing here is that when you come to say, oh, the minister has stolen, I'm trying to say that you can tell them that, hey, in the first place, the minister is there because of them. And then they are saying, whatever the minister does is our brother. And we are saying that until we start recognizing this thing, That is why in the 60s, when we had independence, we start on one base, one Ghana, one people, one nation, one destiny. You are a Ghanaian and nothing else. Nothing else. It means you can go to every part of Ghana, live there, work there, and make your life. You'll be treated as an individual and a citizen. Now, when you are even going to appoint a minister, you see people drumming, follow him to parliament. Gong, 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 gong. They go to parliament, make noise, nobody talks. Who is going to in that parliament to vet him to say, oh, you stole money the last time, and we think when we give you the job, you will not do it? Talking about parliament where people go and fight.
Kofi, you're talking about the ignorance of the people, but people in high positions should be aware. If somebody is found or some sort of anything, intelligence have come out and they perceived to be corrupt, they should be dealt accordingly.
Recently, we had case in Ghana, and I'm using the case of Ghana. I think it was the what they call Auditor General who was speaking recently. He said we found a lot of people culpable, and we think there are challenges with their cases. But there are important, when you say high-placed people, well-respected people, and most of them are chiefs. They are phoning you, calling you, every day coming to your house and tell you that, you see, that particular case, we want you to drop it. That particular case, we want to... The man said it publicly. We are trying to say that in public, this is what you see. You see an individual, it's like a policeman.
What are you suggesting, sir? Are you saying that because people keep calling and saying drop the case, or because people keep acting in ignorance, then it's acceptable, or that it's okay?
We are not saying it's acceptable.
So what are you saying?
Saying that the problems behind those issues have to also be acknowledged and addressed, in the sense that, look, we can't expect a soldier to fire when we know we've given him a gun without a bullet.
But that's what I said earlier, that, you know, in order to address those issues, for instance, like you're mentioning, first of all, you have to educate the masses. It's when the masses get the education and the understanding of what that office represents, or what that individual represents holding that office, and the interest that they hold in that office, and the benefits in return that that office is supposed to serve them. When they understand that, they will behave better. I also made mention earlier that if we're fighting corruption, we need to put measures in place. Because if there aren't measures in place that prevent, we can't say that we're fighting corruption without...
Let's look at it.
We can't say we're fighting corruption without preferring solutions. There has to be solutions put in place that makes it difficult, that makes it hard, that makes it virtually impossible to be able to just have access to the funds within your department in the same way that they've been able to do that. We also have, not only do we put preventative measures in place, but we should also put accountability measures in place where there are checks and balances that make sure that people do not, you know, our method of fighting corruption tends to be a lot of shouting, tends to be very media-based, tends to be, you know, just a public affair. The internal work in the background that needs to happen in order for us to adequately fight it. It's not a fight we're going to win in a day, but it's a process, and it's a progressive fight that means that you have to carry the society with you. You've got to carry the community with you. You have to carry the chiefs and everybody with you. Fine. It's not a sole fight.
Okay, Kofi, hold on. I need to read a message. This is from YK saying, human beings are everywhere, the same, and given the chance, most people will act corrupt for their self-interest. We are creatures of adaptation and adapt to any situation via our survival instinct. Corruption is not peculiar to any society. What makes corruption unattractive relatively in developed countries are the systems in place to punish offenders swiftly and drastically when caught. Systems like the independence of law enforcement agencies and the judiciary. Okay, that's from YK. Let me take one or two text messages and then we can move on. You can also send your message. You can go on our Facebook page, GNTV UK. You can send your messages there, and I'll do my best to read all of them. Please, when you do send the messages, make sure they're concise. Don't write an essay, because I've got loads of messages here, but it's too long to read, okay? If I was to read it, probably Kofi won't have enough time to contribute. Let me read the first line of this. Good morning, Jones. Generalization of African in negative stead is one subject that gets me worked up, especially on topics that taints the image of the progress being made by some focused and patriotic leaders. As we all know, in Africa, post-colonialism was one sound footing, but ended up selling ourselves back to meddling hands of the West, which saw a ripple effect of rampant coup d'etats that resulted in Saturn's backhoes of the promising visions to have graced the earth. Okay, that's from Roy. Roy has written a long, I think this is probably an article he wrote some time ago. Keep your thoughts and comments coming in. Like I said, you can go on our Facebook page as well and you can leave a comment. If you want to call the studio, it's 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. The question we're asking today is the fight against corruption. Africa, are we fighting a losing battle? Make sure to send your comments in. Govi.
Thank you very much. You see, 70% or plus of our people are at a level that some of us will marvel at very, very low in terms of development, in terms of education, in terms of understanding simple things. They are still at that basic level. And because of that, explaining certain things to them is somehow difficult.
It's not.
But be patient with me. We want to still, some places you don't even have access to them. They're isolated.
They're not. As long as they have a representative, they're not
isolated. Now. What we are trying to do here is that let us look at this corruption and look at certain other side. Remember, some of the corruption are not only local, they have foreign partners. Yeah? Good. So, and the secret about corruption is that money was given to you to build schools, and you decided not to build the school as a minister. But the money will be used for something. That's something, if, for example, you used it to build 1 million houses, the stock of houses will reduce, isn't it? So they gave you to build school, but you build houses or private houses. Still, houses have been built. Yeah. People will work on the building of the houses. But when you go to Germany or you take the money to America, what happened? And you are building America, not our place. So this is what the Indians are now doing. Let us look at the Indian case. And when you talk about corruption, all the continent corruption put it together is not up to 30% of the kind of corruption you have in India. But do you know that in Ghana, Nigeria, the steel rolling mill, Ajokuta, been bought by Tata. The pharmaceutical companies in Ghana are all being bought by India. So all over West Africa and the continent, the Indians are buying things. But
just
run up for
me. Run up for me. We need to move on. Run up for me.
From corrupt money. So what we are then saying is that, and when you take the Indians' money outside, they have authority as well that will come after you. So let us look at how we can create institutions that will be able to encourage people, if they even still, to keep the money inside to create jobs, rather than, because that is what will remove these people out of poverty.
Priscilla, Kofi is saying institutions.
Well, you know what? My best example is Rwanda. I think every African country needs to be ashamed of themselves. We all know what Rwanda went through. And in how many years? Rwanda has the fastest growing economy in Africa. It has institutions. It is developed. The school system is so damn good that the private school system are now begging the government to say, hey, do something so that we can have some students, because nobody is now sending their children to private schools anymore. They don't need to, because the state schools are that good. So I think we all need to stop all that we do and just take a look at what's happening in Rwanda. Ask questions. How did you do it? I'm not saying that Kigali is the best. I'm not saying that he doesn't have issues, or that he's not corrupt in his own ways, or that he hasn't committed offenses against human rights, for instance. There are those issues and questions to be answered. However, on the overall, where it comes to the interest of the people and the benefit to the greater majority of the Rwandan people, can you say he hasn't done well? What are the rest of Africa doing? We didn't go through what they went through in Rwanda. We have no excuses. It's not good enough. If Rawlings did what he did at the time he did in order for Ghana to, shape up, we didn't agree with it. It was totally wrong. But I tell you, there are parts of Africa today that people are craving for that kind of, for something like that to happen. It's unfortunate, and we shouldn't go through that. So it is doable. Democracy is not our problem. We just need to stop telling ourselves the things that we tell ourselves and acting the way we do.
Thank you very much, Priscilla and Kofi Ali. This is where we're going to end our discussion on corruption, but keep it going, keep the conversation going on our Facebook page, GNTV UK. The fight against corruption. The fight against corruption, are we fighting a losing battle? We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have an interview with the Gold Coast company from the GN. We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back.
News Redefined. Wondering what's going on in the life of your favorite entertainment personality? Wonder no more because the Daily Setbit has got you covered with the latest in entertainment news, gossip, facts, rumors, and of course, some sizzling interviews.
Not just that, did you know actor Jimmy Fox's real name is Eric Malone Bishop? I bet you didn't know. On the Did You Know segment, we bring you some mind-boggling facts you might not know about your favorite celebrity.
We don't only set the trend with our stories, we bring you trendy videos and images that have gone viral on social media. Your entertainment just got better.
Doing something illegal in there?
No. What? Your lesbian fixation? Huh? You call that a lesbian fixation? It is happening live. I am just coming from their room.
Drama. This cannot continue. We cannot continue hiding our true feelings.
Hey, why are you locking the door? He who carries the load knows his weight. So what do we do now?
We bang on the door till she opens it.
What the hell is going on?
We just came out of that room and what we saw there didn't even come close to 2 women.
You know, sometimes the trap doesn't catch the prey you set it for.
Why Solombi? These girls are becoming troublesome.
Are we supposed to tell our clients to wait so we go buy shampoo? We deliver to our clients irrespective of our challenges.
I shall be back. You won't get rid of me so easily.
Beloved, God created man with the dust of the earth. God breathed the breath of life into mankind. So man became a living soul. It is therefore empirical to know and to understand that the earthly cannot survive without the heavenly. Faith today is designed to bring men and women of God from across the world to discuss developmental issues and current affairs backed by the scriptures and the gospels. This will enable us to have a better Ghana and a better world to live in. My name is Apostle Owahim Omaria Champon. I'm going to be your regular host. Remember, the light of God will shine. Don't miss it.
You might ask an artist to explain his art, or ask a poet to explain his poem, but it defeats the purpose. The meaning is only clear through the search. Painting is the silence of thought, the music of sight. Painting is just another way of keeping a diary. If you could say it in words, there'll be no reason to paint. I love social media. I am social media. So I've decided I'm going to hijack your screens for the next 60 minutes as we surf through your Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and all of it. The key is to listen, engage, and build relationships. Social media is not just any media. It means fun and connecting to your favorite personalities online from any part of the globe. And when I say fun, I mean real fun. FNN Social.
Hello and welcome back to Talk Africa. If you just tune in, we just finished with our main topic of the day. Make sure to keep the conversation flowing on our Facebook page. I'm now joined by the Gold Coast Management Fund team. I have Mr. Boache, who is the general manager, and also Ban Salia, who is a northern zonal manager here in the studio to discuss what the Gold Coast Management Fund is all about, and also tell us exactly what they'll be doing here in the UK. Good morning to the both of you.
Good morning. Good morning, and good morning to your wonderful viewers.
Let me start with you, Mr. Boache. Tell us what is the Gold Coast Fund Management about?
Okay, thank you very much. So Gold Coast Fund Management is an investment bank and fund management company. We basically advise people on the proper ways to invest, and then also we direct them in the areas whether they want to put their money into short-term or long-term. And when that is done, then we have experts who decide on areas to invest to get fantastic returns for them. That's what we've been doing for the past 24 years in Ghana.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And Ben, can you tell us the process that people need to go through if they come to you?
It's a very simple process.
Please come forward a little bit for me, speaking to the microphone.
Okay, it's a very simple process. Once you have, the first thing you need to do is to make a decision that you want to invest, because that is the bottom line of success in your life. And once you have made that decision, we will require you to come with a passport-size picture, any of your recognized ID cards, of course with a check of the amount you want to start with. Then we'll get you to fill a very simple form, and you are ready to go.
Okay. Now, a lot of people here in the UK, sometimes they're a bit skeptical when it comes to investment. What can you say to people who are skeptical about investing, that they can, if they come to the Gold Coast Management Fund, wherever they're trying to do, they're safe and secure?
Thank you. As I said earlier, we have been in this business for the past 24 years.
Okay.
We have never lost a dollar or a cedi of an investor. And some of our Ghanaians who are here are already doing business with us. They send me money to their relatives, and then they come and do business. Some have been with us for 5 years, 10 years, and some beyond. So there are a few Ghanaians here who are already doing business with us who can testify that Gold Coast is credible. When it comes to Ghana, we are the best fund manager for the past 5 years. And that tells you that we are a credible company. We belong to a group in Doom, that is also has investments across Africa and even here, and then US, Chicago. So it's a good company, it's a credible company, and we are serious people doing serious business with serious people.
Okay, and how do you intend on working with people here in the UK?
I think it's much easier now that we have a liaison office here. We're encouraging our brothers and sisters around the world, that especially those who are here, the very good way to start thinking of going home is to start doing some 1 or 2 businesses back at home. And you just don't take a day to get up and go home and start business. So now that we have our liaison office here, at the end of it all, I'm sure you will give the liaison office out. They should come here. I mean, talk to our wonderful personnel here. Anybody here can direct you what Gold Coast do, more especially the kind of products that will be suitable for you. Then you get to start something little and build upon it.
I understand you came here for training. What kind of training?
Wanted to add a little.
Oh, you wanted to add a little bit?
Yeah, because we have a bank called GM Bank.
Yeah.
And they have an account they call diaspora account. So when you want to transfer money to Ghana, you use GM Bank, their diaspora account. They open an account for you. And because it's a star company, we're able to coordinate. Okay. And then they set you up, and then we are able to take the money and invest on your behalf.
So you have the right channels in place already?
Yes, already. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I understand you came here for a week to do some training. Tell us what you've been doing since you've been here.
Yeah, it's a short course to up our skills in the market.
We, as market leaders, management see that for us to maintain as market leaders, in between time, you have to up your skills in selling, you have to up your skills in the financial market, you increase your knowledge in the financial market. That's the only way you can continue to be a market leader. So we've been here for a week just to up our skills in selling and then the financial market, increase our knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you did mention about because the GM Bank is already in existence, you work with the GM Bank. So if somebody wants to invest, the right channels is there already.
Yes.
What kind of things would they need if somebody wanted to invest?
Basically, you fill a simple form. You open an account with GM Bank.
Okay.
And then you deposit the money, and they are able to transfer it to Ghana for us to take the money and set you up for the investment.
Okay.
So that's what they do. They only open an account with GM Bank.
And when they want to open an account, they have to come to the liaison
office. The liaison office, and a very simple process you go through, and then it's better. You see, most Ghanaians usually, before they were sending money through friends and other people who were messing them up. So you have the right channel where you put your money into an account. There's an acknowledgement of receipt, and therefore there's no way these monies will get lost like it has happened to some few people.
Okay, there's no third man in between.
No. There's a formal process which is very, very credible.
I think now it's even much more easier now because we have GN Mobile Money. We also have Pay Global.
Yeah.
Pay Global is a global network that you can do transfers from anywhere in the world. And that will be a wonderful platform for anybody who wants to do transactions towards home.
And it's all directed through GM Bank.
Now to touch on a bit on the Pay Global, because a lot of people have been asking questions about how it works.
It's actually a network system.
Yeah.
It's like any of the transfer systems internationally. But this one uses any other network, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you can do your transfer from anywhere. And it's much easier.
Yeah.
Okay, now how can people find Gold Coast Fund Management here in the UK?
Yeah, you have to come to the liaison office.
The liaison office.
Okay,
I've been given the address to the liaison office, so I will put it out there for our listeners and viewers to know. Okay, with the training that you came here to do, what impact would that have on the future of the people living here in the UK within the diaspora?
The future it has is that we will start looking at those individuals who we think that we should profile, because our agenda is to get our brothers and sisters everywhere in the world to start doing something meaningful for themselves.
Yeah.
So we'll start reaching out to them. And of course, there are a lot of Africans who have very good businesses across the world. And it's good we reach out to them to see how they can start doing something either back in Africa, back in, in their various homes where they originally come from. I think that's the way we want to start.
What are some of the challenges that people have when they're trying to invest?
You have to identify the right people to invest through, or identify the right company. If you come down to Ghana, there are a lot of companies around who are trying to take people's money to invest. So if you make the mistake and go to the wrong people, then definitely you are in trouble. But surprisingly, these are the people who also promise fantastic returns.
Yeah.
So we tell them, be careful. People can promise you the moon, but they have never been to anywhere. So this is some of the challenges. People come, they want big interest. But if you are taking big interest, then you are taking big risk. So we advise them that risk and returns are correlated.
Yeah.
So be careful who you deal with. But apart from that, some of us have been in the system for a very long time.
Yeah.
We have the track record, we have the experience, and therefore they should look for such people and do business with them. Otherwise, you can get yourself.
And it's not just Ghanaians, non-Ghanaians can also invest, right?
No. The fact is that we just want to put out there that, diversified risk is not the same as gamble.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, as long as you are energetic and strong now, you have what it takes to earn some money. It's not going to be like that forever. So if you are even earning and you think that you are healthy enough to work forever, but you should start preparing something that you can probably do something on your own. You should have some reserve funds, because that's the only way you can build a successful future. You can't just be working from hand to mouth.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, you should start thinking of saving something, putting it into a very secured investment that will give you a good return over a longer period of time, so that you guarantee your retirement period, you guarantee the days that you wouldn't be energetic enough to work, you guarantee a better life when you are not strong enough to work again. I think that's the agenda, and this doesn't go for Ghanaians, it doesn't go for Africans, it's good for everybody.
Just before we wrap up, I mean, here in the UK they have something that's called the ISA. Is it a thing where there's a limit to the amount of money that you can invest?
Oh, no.
No.
No. But I wanted to talk about you asked a question whether it's for Ghanaians. We have a group of companies, and our name is called Group Indum.
Yeah.
We have companies in some other countries, like Liberia. We have bank there. We have microfinance there. Togo,
yes.
Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina, and now we are here. We are in the US. So
we're in the US.
It's for everybody. If you are in the US, you can come to office in Chicago, here, UK, here.
Yeah.
But if you go to Liberia, if you're from Liberia, if you're from Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina, we are all there.
Okay.
So
all right, and you can be you're accessible online as well.
Definitely.
Yes. Okay.
Definitely.
The address to the liaison office here in the UK is Kennington Park Business Centre, number 123 Brixton Road, SW9 6DE. That's Kennington Park Business Centre, 123 Brixton Road, SW9 6DE. Gold Coast Management Fund. That's the address. So if you want to get in touch, make sure you save that address and do pay them a visit. That's it from us today. We say thank you to Mensa Boache, who is the General Manager, and also Banselia, who is the Northern Zonal Manager.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you
for the opportunity.
We do it again, same time, same place tomorrow. The next program is The Breakfast Show with Brown Eye. See you tomorrow.
See you.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.